I'm Barb Owen-Borger with Coochin County Community Television, and I'm here tonight to interview a group of local triathletes who are taking on the truly most epic event in triathlon, which is the Ironman Triathlon. And I'm going to introduce Ken Krieger,
Hello.
Bob French, Linda Bellinger. And it should be noted too that this isn't my first try at this. I sat with this group of people and one more seasoned triathlete, Mike Lassard, who couldn't make it here tonight, and had a really phenomenal conversation I wanted to share with you, but due to some technical difficulties on my part, this is a do-over. And I'm mentioning that because I want to make sure that I honor how grateful I am for this group of people who have full-time jobs, have full-time lives, full-time plus training schedule, but they found time for me to bring this to the community. So I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that. The Ironman Triathlon is kind of like the gorilla in the room of for triathletes, right? It's that big, epic race.
Yeah, that's one issue.
So Ken, I'm going to start with you, and I'm just going to work my way naturally around the table. But I also want to invite anybody to speak freely, because this is really I think what I liked best about the last time that we sat together was that there was such an ongoing conversation with everybody. You're all registered and preparing for September 9th, is it?
11th.
September 11th, 2016, Ironman Triathlon in Madison, Wisconsin. Ken, you've done that before. Can you just start with whatever you feel you want to share with us about your experience so far? I know you've got a lot of experience.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful race. It's about 2,500 racers. It is incredibly well organized.
I'm going to stop you. Now this is going to feel really unnatural, but I just want to make sure you guys are speaking loudly.
Oh, sorry.
You're very kind. So you look like a real place. So I'm just going to edit that piece.
Okay.
But, sorry, but we'll cut back to you.
Sure.
Okay.
We should probably explain what the Ironman is.
Well, yeah, thank you.
I think we started
I think we
with that.
did that last time, and so that's what I'll ask you to do,
Okay.
so I'll re-ask you. So Ken, you have done more than one Ironman, and you've done specifically the Ironman in Madison. First of all, before we go any further, can you give some detail on what makes the Ironman such an epic event?
Okay. Well, it's one of the hardest triathlons out there, and actually Wisconsin is known as one of the hardest Ironman triathlons.
Oh, okay. I didn't-
Specifically because of the bike course. It's much hillier than most.
Okay.
And so the Ironman is a 2.4 mile open swim.
Open water swim.
Open water swim
Okay.
in Lake Monona.
Okay.
You and 2,500 of your best friends start out treading water, the cannon goes off, and you're all aiming for the same buoy.
Do you have to swim out back?
It's a rectangle.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the first year I did it, there was 15-mile-an-hour winds. It was really wavy. That made it extra hard. So after a 2.4 mile swim, then there's a 112-mile bike,
Hilly bike ride.
a very hilly bike ride, and you go from everything from 55 miles an hour downhill to uphill in granny gear and hills that never end.
Wow.
And that's a 2-lap course.
Okay.
And then it's a marathon, 26.2 miles run.
Which is the easy part of it all.
Well, not by then.
I'm joking.
Not by then. And that's 2 laps, and it's goes through downtown Madison, this Camp Randall Stadium, the state capitol.
Great scenery.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
The energy in Madison's got to be just crazy.
Their website claims 70,000 fans.
I believe
it's
it.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a really neat race.
And how many times have you done this?
2.
2. Okay.
2013, 2014.
Okay. So 13 and 14, you took a year off.
Yeah, it was conflict. I had a conflict.
Okay. Okay.
And now this year I had to go back because my family volunteers, and they're like, "You got to go back. It's fun volunteering."
Oh, that's
so,
really cool. Really cool. So where are you at in your training right now? Are you?
I'd say maintaining.
Okay.
Swimming a couple times a week. Not running a whole lot. Not bike. Not. I'll pick it up.
Right. But you're someone who's always active. Yeah. So as someone who has done this before, and again, each of you has a really interesting individual story, but you've been an endurance athlete
No.
Really?
97 I did Grandma's. That was
Okay, Grandma's Marathon.
And so if you'd have told me in college to run a 5K, I'm like, no way.
Well, those are hard. I think
Yeah.
those are hard.
Yeah, so it just, I don't know.
So
And it was, people inspired me, actually. It was Hillary Ramsey and Dale Salmi. You know,
Okay.
Dale Salmi had done Grandma's, and it's like, he went training, he ran the Gateway. I'm like, that's crazy, I could have
Who
tried
does that? Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran
So-
the Gateway. Okay, so for those people that might not know what that
Oh,
means.
25 miles.
25 miles. So
Yeah.
that was his training for a 26.2 mile race.
Yeah, I'm like, that's ridiculous.
On purpose.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'm gonna move around the table, but we're gonna keep coming back because you've all got great stories to tell. Bob French, you have a very unique story in that this is your first Ironman,
Yeah,
but you really, the triathlon is very new to you.
very new.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your history and you know what makes your story unique. Will you just share that with us?
Well, I don't know, I got into like this, I don't know, fitness thing here.
Got the bug.
Got the bug about 2 years ago. I weighed about 340 pounds.
Say that again?
I weighed 340
You weigh
pounds.
340 pounds.
Yeah, so I started out running on the treadmill, shed some weight, got into 5Ks, and got dared to run a half marathon, ran a half marathon, said, wow, this ain't that bad.
That's the bad.
Signed up for a full marathon, ran that, and before I knew it, I did 4 sprints, triathlons last summer around northern Minnesota. These two said they were signing up for Ironman.
You met these guys. That's what
I met these two through,
right?
you know,
Through
doing
the
the
triathlon network
little
here.
community here.
Yeah. So to give some people some perspective on the difference between a Ironman and a sprint triathlon, tell us what the distance for a sprint triathlon
My
is.
first one was in Grand Rapids,
Okay.
Timberman.
Okay.
I think it was a third mile of a swim, so I mean, it wasn't, I mean, it's a great distance, but
Sure.
not great.
It's a
And
challenge.
then the bike, I think, was 17 miles,
17.
and then
Okay.
I finished it with a 3.1 mile run.
So there's not necessarily a set standard for sprint, or is there?
No, they're all a little
Okay.
bit
It's
different.
about a tenth of an Ironman.
A tenth of an
Yeah.
Ironman.
About.
Okay, because I think about that when I do a half marathon, that I really don't want to run that again when I'm done. So I can't imagine, doing a full one, and it's going to be interesting to hear from you guys when you get to that point where you're like, well, I'm a tenth of the way through the Ironman. So, I also know that you are, you're really deeply involved in a specific training schedule right now.
Oh, I'm trying to learn new things. so,
Okay.
Like my swimming now, I'm like trying to become more efficient,
Yep,
quicker,
yep.
burn less energy.
So you have a coach that you're working with?
Well, actually, I go to Canada and I train over there
Yeah, that's
with a master group. Masters only means 18 and older,
Yeah,
so I mean,
yeah. So
yeah,
you're just like a year over the minimum.
yeah, I'm 19 and going on.
Well, and I think it's, I'm glad you brought that up because, this is Coochin County Community Television, but it's really about our community as a whole and how we live here. And there is a lot of crossover with our friends in Fort Francis.
Yeah, I get a lot of support over there with the swim team, so.
Yeah, and they have a different program there than we have here. They have a master's program
Yeah.
over there. And then we have those that come here to, it's a line, it's a border, but really athletes and people flow back and forth and support each other very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found at the pool, everybody just wants to help. I mean, the
Yeah.
lifeguards, the people you swim with.
It's kind of a social thing. I feel like you go to the pool and like, oh, I'm here to swim, not talk. Yeah,
There's no talking.
She wears a red swim cap, that means she's here to get.
That's a good idea.
Yes, that's the
That's
stuff,
good, yeah.
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 Well, I would bet that, the physical attributes aside, which is a huge challenge, and you are training and you're taking your body places where, maybe last year you didn't think you could go, or that you never even want to, or at some point in your life this was not on your bucket list. But what happens, and you're bringing up what I think is so cool about this, why I just totally want to join the group. Because this is you're good people that support each other, and also, this is a huge thing, and none of you doubt that anyone at this table could do it. I mean, that kind of faith in someone,
Oh, yeah.
that you give that to each other, I know you talked, last time we visited, there was the 3 disciplines of, 4th discipline of triathlon, one being running and then biking and swimming, the 4th was nutrition. I think the 5th is the support that you get from each other. It is such a tight group, and you guys are so vulnerable to each other. I think we can't not talk about that because it gets me excited, and I already told you how I feel about a full marathon. So there's something about the energy that you guys bring to the culture in this town that tells me that triathlon is going to continue to grow in this community.
And it has. I've been in triathlon going on my 7th year. And when we first started, of course my husband does it with me too, and there really wasn't a lot of people to bike with and train with and travel with, you know, and now there is more. Like we did what, 3 triathlons on a couple, together, and it's just so fun to have other people you can talk to about it. How's your training going? Bike with, we've been on rides together, and you know, go out of town and have other people just from the falls there when we're out of town. It's been, you know, just really nice to have that support.
Well, you guys, to me, when I'm around you, you seem like you're old friends. I think it's because you've gone through so much together. And you don't question each other, you support each other, but you also get that place when there's a struggle. You know what that means. Even listening to you, the conversation around the equipment that's here, your bikes, Bob and I, you know, part of the time we were like, what the heck we were talking about. But again, you know, you're new and that becomes part of.
Ever since I got into this, I mean, I know who to talk to. It's
Yeah.
like, I got a question.
We all kind of have, like, I was like, you know a lot about, you know, biking. Everybody has their thing that they know.
Yeah.
Sure.
You probably, swimming probably too for you.
I
You're
know,
probably,
I know how to get through it.
yeah, so he carries a lot of experience, Ken, that's having been there before.
I guess you're the granddaddy this time around, right? But that's wonderful. And again, you may not have ever come to this place had you not met and became friends with people that have that like interest.
Yeah, you mentioned Mike Lassard, he's the one that put me
Yeah.
onto it.
Yeah, Mike Lassard. I wish that he could have made it tonight because he's always a great storyteller.
Yes.
I mean, he's just an endlessly interesting guy, and you know, a guy who mentioned to us that time, the first time he went to swim practice, he realized he didn't know how to swim, but he did Ironman triathlons.
Yep.
You know, that's a really. But there was also someone there for him that you know understood what, you know, how to mentor somebody through that process, which is really what's happening here. Linda Bellinger, you are someone right now who you said you've been doing triathlons for 7 years.
This will be my 7th season, yeah.
And you are someone who, and not that I guess I didn't ask you guys this, but I just happened to know Linda because she's kind of my idol. she's a female side of this, and she also has sons, so we see each other often.
Mm-hmm.
But Linda, you are at a level, a performance level where you do this competitively. So there's, this is really a big step for you though.
This is, yeah, I feel like after doing the sprint and then moving up to the next distance, which they call International Olympic, and then doing the half, okay, now I need to graduate. It's almost like, okay, I've been there and I need to
It's time.
It's
time.
to try it.
And you're ready for it. And you've got this group. Are you going into this Ironman? And we're going to see each other again, obviously, before that, whether you like it or not. Are you going into it with that competitive piece to you, or are you going to see how it plays out?
You know, my first time I did a marathon, I said, I don't care about anything but crossing that finish line, but you can't help but look at your watch and think, Boston, can I qualify for Boston? You know what I mean? And that's just who I am because...
And that's the difference. What you just said.
So I am, during my training, going to train that I want to finish. I think you go into it, you know, knowing this is a hard race and I have to work hard, but yet you have to mentally say, I can do this.
Right.
So I think, you know, my training, I'm going to train so that I make sure that I can accomplish this.
The peak of your ability.
But it would be nice to have a really nice time.
Sure.
So, you going to be hard work training, but yeah, it would be nice to just finish it well.
It's going to be fun. I actually, after we spoke last time, I checked into being able to volunteer. They don't take applications for volunteers until April.
Oh,
So I just want you guys to know I'm thinking about it. I'm sincerely excited and curious, and just a little bit envious that you guys are, taking this on. It's just a really, really cool thing. So Ken, you as someone who's been there and done that a couple times, there is a whole culture really around Ironman at that event, as well as some really unique policies, I guess, or guidelines that you have to follow as an Ironman triathlete. One of them is, are there check-in points, or is there just an overall time that you have to come in under?
there's cutoffs.
Okay.
So the overall cutoff is 17 hours. So we start at 7 in the morning, so by midnight, 12:01 you can make it. So
Okay.
midnight is the cutoff. Then there's specific cutoffs, like the swim is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
So if you're not out of the water across the mat in 2 hours and 20 minutes, you're done, you're stopped.
So when you say across the mat, for those that might not know that, it's an electronic timing device.
Yep, you get a chip timer on
You
your
get a
ankle.
timer on your ankle, so that registers. So they're not out there counting and trying to identify everybody.
No, but they have
automatic.
mats to make sure.
Gotcha.
that you're
It's
not
very
covered.
well organized.
Oh, yeah. And you can, your family or friends can follow you online.
Oh, that's right. They've got that technology
Yeah,
now where
so they can see
sit at
where
home in
you
their
are.
recliner eating
Yep.
brownies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they actually had live streaming of the finish and
That's
stuff.
cool.
But so it's 2 hours and 20 minutes for the swim, which
Okay.
that's plenty of time to finish that swim.
Okay.
And then there's cutoffs on the bike, like you have to be.
He's been there.
No problem. Yeah.
Even
As
with
long as you're in a 20-mile-an-hour wind coming across the
as
lake.
long as you grab onto someone else.
I think there's a cutoff halfway on the bike and then for the total bike. So if you're not on pace for the bike, and then there's several cutoffs for the run. And I think part of it is they literally shut down Madison, so they need,
They do.
as
The old isthmus is all blocked up.
yeah, and they're just as the cutoffs come, they're closing those checkpoints and opening it up, and plus it's
Safety wise.
It's got to end sometime.
Well, I imagine too that there's a huge responsibility to manage people in such a way that you don't have stragglers.
Right, and
Security wise.
because I'm not a fast person at all, but I normally I'm at a pace that I'm going to finish, and then you see people, when I'm turning around coming back, you see people just heading out and they're just limping or running sideways, and it's like
It's
you
not
feel
gonna go
bad,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but it's kind of got to be that way.
There's that real experiential piece to being an athlete that's doing the Ironman. So,
And the people, a lot of people that watch the finish, they say the winners. I mean, that's neat, but
Right.
seeing the people cross at 11:55.
the people that do it for a living, that do it over and over and over again, is one thing.
Yeah.
But to see those people that are
The
like
last
us,
2 hours.
Yep.
I like to watch that when I watch Grandma's Marathon too.
Yeah.
That 5 hour and beyond, that's my favorite part. It's something really special. I mean, it's really special, but it's more like something you can identify with.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to bring up, like Ken said earlier, there's like 2,800, 2,500 others athletes, people that do this.
Yeah.
And I've done my research before I signed the
Is that
waivers.
for- Yeah, the waiver.
So,
Yeah,
and about 1,000 of them every year is newbies. People
Isn't
crossing
that
things off their
amazing?
bucket list. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, there's not a lot
I
of
mean, we're not
people
going to be the
trying
only new
to
people out there. So
Yeah, finishing the swim in time is, to me, that's one of the last things I'm worried about. I'm way more worried about getting kicked or elbowed or punched.
because it's crowded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody swims, including me, in a nice straight
Well,
line.
especially if you've got a third at least of them are first timers. They may not be first time triathletes, but they're first time at this venue, and that's a whole different mindset.
Great.
And that's what you've mentioned that in the past too, about talking really about that mental piece. You can fine tune a body and prep your body as much as you believe you can, but where does that? There's going to be times when you've got to overcome from here. You've got to overcome what's going on here, right? And do you have any experience of those moments on the Ironman course?
Oh, for sure. You're swimming and you're thinking, now remember, you like this. This is what you want to do. This is fun.
I like to swim. I like to swim.
you'll get boxed in where you literally, I mean, there's somebody literally
You're in the water.
shoulder to shoulder, somebody's tapping
That
your
gives me
toes.
anxiety. Just
And there's nowhere to go until, or literally you can have people swim over you. So, it's not so bad for us big guys, but somebody small.
No, that will be the toughest challenge. I didn't come from a swim background, never swam in high school, actually didn't even make it across the pool and back until I decided to do triathlon. So the swim for me is going to be the biggest challenge, definitely.
And it's not a physical challenge, it's the mental challenge, the confidence.
Yeah.
And, relaxing into it is what it is. You can just do what you can in those moments.
I am not a very confident swimmer. We had a triathlon in Walker one year, and it was on Leech Lake, white capping, and I was worried.
Yeah.
I did not freestyle. I was breaststroking with my head out of the water most of the course. It
The
was
wetsuit
pretty.
helps a lot.
The wetsuit helps.
Yeah, so I think I moved it, and we'll get it on video, but that's the other thing too. There's so much gear that goes into something like this. There's a special bike, there's special shoes, there's a helmet, and I mean, you've got a really set of things. But that wetsuit, so it's a full body wetsuit, long arms, long legs. Do you see people also in the shorter ones, or?
Some of those and some wear none.
Okay.
Maybe out of 2,500, maybe 10.
Okay, so the benefit in terms of a wetsuit being a part of your equipment, there's several benefits, especially if the water's cold, it gives you some insulation there. But it also helps you remain more buoyant.
Yep.
But there comes at a cost, because you got to get out of it at
Well,
some point. Or,
You're speaking about volunteering in Ironman.
Yeah.
You have people that take your wetsuits off.
Take your
whereas,
wetsuits off. You've got to have all hands on deck, because those transitions are critical.
Yeah. My first Ironman, I got to the wetsuit strippers, and it was a.
That's what they call it.
I didn't want to say
I'm
that.
gonna sign up for that.
Yeah, and it's, it's an older guy and a young lady,
No.
and they're reefing on my zipper, and I'm like, come on, people are passing me. Well, the tag was caught in the zipper,
course.
and
They couldn't do
I'm
anything.
like, cut it off, I don't care.
Get scissors.
They eventually got it, but
And of course, they're doing the very best they
Oh, for
can
sure.
too, and their
And their
shorts are probably just
oh,
breaking.
for sure. And it's, maybe it was 30 seconds.
But you're at that moment where you're like, I'm out. I'm ready to go, right? You're on to the next thing. So then the other thing is, so 2,800 athletes.
2,500.
So, over 2,000 people. How do you find which bike is yours? Because you don't like park in the alligator lot.
It's so well organized.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They have a Monona Terrace parking. It's,
my favorite place.
it's, they have the bikes, they're numbered like 20
And
bikes
does
in
it
a rack.
go like according to your race number, or no?
Yeah,
Do they, okay.
your bib number,
Bib
everything's, yeah.
Okay.
And so it's, your bike is,
know-
and you put it there, you check your
Okay.
bike in Saturday, the race is Sunday, you know exactly where it's
Where you're
going. Yep.
Okay, so that's all you're thinking about while you're swimming, your mind, your memory. And so you got to take that wetsuit off. You have to get into a pair of shoes, or a lot of people keep the bike and shoes actually attached to the bike.
Only the pros can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's something I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, you have a morning bag, swim bag, a bike bag, and a run bag, and all the checkpoints is just.
It's all managed for you.
wonderful.
Is that amazing?
Yep.
A lot of volunteers.
That is
So well
amazing.
organized.
So
And you just take your stuff off and they bag it for you.
you trust that it's going to be taken care
Oh,
of.
it's.
And it is.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Yep.
a long standing. So then you're out of the water, you're on your bike.
Unless your helpful sister picks up your bag at the end with your cell phone, so you can't call her to find out where your cell phone is. But
I've had big issues at the end of races, and that's really, but it usually
Yep.
just somebody being helpful, because they think, well, you might forget.
Right.
So wetsuit, then there's a bike that you've made an investment in. You've got running shoes. I mean, that's, pretty obvious. But there's the entire list of groceries. Because you're going to be exercising for up to 17 hours. at a very high level. I'm getting hungry talking about that.
There you go.
I did bring snacks. So there's fueling before the event, as you're really part of that training and prepping as you get closer and closer to the event. And I imagine nutrition becomes a big piece of that.
Yeah.
Are there any certain things that you have learned the hard way not to?
Well, I kind
Put on
of
the
so
table?
split spaghetti the night before,
Okay.
banana.
So the traditional spaghetti,
Yeah.
then okay.
Banana and juice in the morning, nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And
No beer, no coffee.
No, I actually have trouble sleeping the night before.
Oh, I can't imagine why that would
I don't know.
be. You mentioned last time you talked that you've never drank more Coca-Cola
Yeah,
in your life.
I normally, Coke isn't my thing, but on the run they had, and it wasn't even Coke, it was like generic cola.
Cola, okay.
And by the time
Probably something donated
by the
by-
time I get there at the end of the pack, it's flat.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get enough of
Isn't
it.
that crazy?
Yeah.
So these are just really kind of insider things that
Yep.
triathlon. So I'm just going to look to you, Bob, because now, Linda, you've done an international distance and you've done a half
Yeah.
Ironman, right? Those are two different distances.
Yep.
Okay. So you're halfway familiar with this. For you, it's going to be a huge jump.
Well, I'm learning now. I'm trying to learn my nutrition while I'm training, so it's
Yeah.
not something you want to learn the day of.
Right,
so.
right. So you're moving through that. Is there anything that your biggest worry, what would that be right now? Just looking.
Right now,
Yeah.
first is not finishing the swim, second is getting a flat tire or two on the
So,
bike.
okay, thank you, because that's where I was kind of trying to get to.
Yeah.
You have this equipment. You even with your wetsuit had an equipment or wardrobe
Glitch,
malfunction,
yeah.
a little glitch, right?
Yep.
But you are also responsible on the course for, are you responsible if your bike breaks down? Like are there volunteers that can help you with that?
They have a couple roving vans,
Okay.
and I'm guessing, say 3.
Sure.
So they'll get to you maybe, but
Right, you probably
you
lose
need to be
time.
able to take care of yourself.
And that's one of the things I think Mike Lassard had mentioned, and was it his first
He
one?
double flatted.
He double flatted,
You're on a
yeah.
time limit on the bike too, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's something you gotta learn how to do.
And that's just more stuff to manage and carry, right? And he also mentioned that he got so dehydrated in one of his Ironman that he wasn't able to finish just physically.
He said he lost 15 pounds.
18 pounds. I remembered it well.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
that's
ridiculous.
Yeah. And what was interesting is he said that they weigh you.
Yep.
Yeah, they weigh you. Is that
They
why
check.
they do that? They just kind of check to see what you
You
might
might.
not be able to, you might not be aware of dehydration at that point.
But they don't check you during the race.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe in the medical tent.
So when you fall over, like, or crap
So
up,
then they could check. Right.
he's down a quart or two.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's really scary. You get to the point where you're going, and we all know the cliche that you're already dehydrated by the time you're thirsty, yet stopping and you want to continue to go when you're feeling good, and you might miss that opportunity. How did you find fueling? And the half Ironman that you did, was there a lot of race support? Was it a well done event?
It was in Laconia, the cities, and the bike. We had a lot of miles where there wasn't a shoulder on a very busy highway. That was kind of scary.
Wow.
'Cause
And we'll have people take a look. These are the tiniest, most narrow little tires.
Yeah, so that part was a little, and plus when you go out of town to a new race, you're not really familiar. Sometimes I like to drive the course the night before, and we just didn't get time to do that. A lot of the races I go to, I've been there the second year, third year, I know the course, I know each hill turn. So this one was kind of going into it blind, and I think I remember telling my husband there was parts where I thought I could reach out and touch a semi going by me. It was pretty nerve. And I did see some comments afterwards. Yeah, if you can stay with it. Yeah, that there was people that commented about it being kind of a busy road, but when they do a race at a certain lake, they only have so many options,
Right.
and they got to work with what they have, and but I thought the rest of it was very well organized. I I actually really liked the run course there. We were on a bike trail for part of it, and it was really nice. It turned out to be a very hot day. It was in August, and it was in the 80s, so that was challenging, getting off your bike on the run and having to run in really high temperatures.
So then there's a lot of water stops and snacks
Yep.
and just continuing to fuel the body.
Lots of food. On the half Ironman I did, there was lots of water and game. Well, they actually used Hammer products, so they had, but they had lots of food. You know, grapes, bananas. They had ice for you if you wanted ice, cold wash. I mean, they had plenty of stuff for you.
The time commitment. You really have got to get buy-in from the people at home.
Yeah.
Because it's something it's sacrifice, right? I have a friend who is married, no kids, trained for an Ironman, and his wife said, do it. This is your year, do it. And when I asked him if he was going to do it again, he said his wife said it was, it's me or the race. She was very supportive, but they both realized, what that commitment was. And that's the only person I've had that conversation with. I think it was just his excuse not to do it again. I'm sure he'll check this out. Not from Tom, okay? So Bob, this for you. How are you balancing that?
Oh, it's tough. When I first mentioned I was going to sign up for the Ironman, everybody says you better talk with your family
Yeah.
because of the time commitment. I mean, right now I spend Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at the pool, and luckily I'm a morning person, so I'm up at 4:30 at the gym running on the treadmill now. So, Tuesdays and Thursday nights I'm at home. So, but come summertime, I have to get the 50-mile bike rides in or 80-mile bike rides in. 6-7 hours on the bike, and so cut into the family time. So.
Well, and one of the things you mentioned last time we talked was that we have such nice roads here for cycling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wide shoulders up here right now.
New pavement, lots of new pavement.
Much nicer than the Ironman.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So you get kind of spoiled.
Yes.
Yeah. Have any of you had, or how often does it happen that you blow a tire when you're training around here? Or you go
My first year?
You go flat.
About 3 times.
Really? Okay. So you become kind of a technical person as well.
Yeah, you
learn.
Not me.
No, you get on the phone.
No, I just call my favorite bike repairman. Bill, my bike's not working right. So
I think it's the tire. Well, and that again is just another layer of the commitment that it takes from you guys. It's not just any old bike. It's not just any old bike. You go through multiple pairs of shoes, I imagine, as you're putting on that kind of mileage. And you have your favorites, and then they stop making them, and then you freak out. Nobody told you. I've been there. And you are out on a 7-mile or 7-hour bike ride somewhere. You're at Gateway. You start in International Falls. You find yourself in Captoma, and you've got a flat. You really have to be resourceful in a lot of different ways. What do you guys think of our local triathlon, the Baptist triathlon? Have you all done it?
Yeah.
Have you all done the full thing, or have you done like team?
It's individual here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know it's been, this year they had it again, but last year it was not possible to do it because of flooding.
Right.
Are you starting to see more people be curious about that?
Getting into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, on a local level here.
Yeah.
Like when we go to like Timberman down Grand Rapids or Walker,
Mm-hmm.
Chase the Police, there's only probably 9 people that usually attend those
from here.
from here.
Yeah, from here.
So
Okay.
I mean, as a group that travels, not much, but in local here, there's
Yeah,
great
a lot of
turnout.
people are planning their summer to give it a try, and I know there's some people that have done it as teams too. So that
Yeah.
being, one swimmer, a different biker, and a different runner.
It's a perfect opportunity to see what it's about.
Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's a sprint distance, and I don't want to say it's super easy, but
It's not.
It's
It's
doable.
it's
Very
doable.
doable.
It really is. It is doable.
It's an entry level distance, an entry level style. City Beach, what a great thing,
Yeah.
right? We're all familiar with that.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll continue to see that grow as well. And of course, you know, and I don't, you'd have to do a product plug or anything, but just the kind of the category that falls in, what is that?
So I kind of brought it as a joke, but,
Right.
but you wouldn't want to, or I wouldn't want to do an Ironman without some kind of lubricant for
Yeah.
parts of your body
Sure.
that rub and shake.
Yeah,
And it can be from your wetsuit, from your bike seat, from running, you know, if you're running 5 or 10 miles, it's no big deal, or bike a couple hours, but after 17 hours.
sure.
Or blisters, I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta take care of your feet, that can be a
Absolutely.
showstopper as much or more than getting tired or getting hurt.
Really what it does is it gives more a glide or a smoother surface for injury nerves, and we all end up with blisters, but
Yeah, I was surprised at the Bemidji Marathon this year. They were actually handing it out.
were they?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked.
Just in
The first
a
marathon I've ever seen that was like
Yeah.
handing out glides. I was like,
I found that it's interesting for me is that the shorts that I was running in when I would do it, I didn't know until I did my first 10-mile training run. I was like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. And their shorts I ran other events, and it wasn't something new, but it was that longer exposure to that friction. So I bought, it's a different brand, but it's the same thing. And you know, any little thing, a little teeny tiny piece of sand can get in there.
Well, think about how many strokes you're doing.
your wetsuits rubbing up.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, another on the subject, like when I first started running, t-shirt material.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rubbing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it can be painful.
Well, and you see it. It's a common part of the culture of running.
But it's not something you think of or you would know. Or
As a beginner,
Yeah.
you don't think of that.
And I imagine there's a
Sorry.
whole host of that you know, some stuff has become so normal for you, yet they might not, you know, be aware of. I still try to figure out. I actually bought a tri-suit because you know, I was going to give it a shot locally, and then I realized it's all one piece. Well, what happens when you know you have to use the facilities? And I mean, even something like that, just really naive and not having had the experience yet, I realized that maybe wasn't the best route for me to go. Or, you know, everybody has their own way, you know, their own thing.
I'm still searching.
You're still searching.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to blame the equipment. You want to know you've got everything ready.
Pretty much.
You know, but again, so about how, what, you know, if we're talking about training for a marathon, it's somewhat common for an 18-mile or 20-mile run to be your longest distance before you take on it the full. I mean, that's not uncommon. When you're looking at how many miles we're looking at, so the bike is how many miles?
112.
112 miles, plus the 26.2 for the marathon. Somebody doing the math?
140.6.
140.6 miles.
Yeah, so you'll see motorcyclers with that.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
140.6
One day nonstop.
on purpose with hills.
Something to do.
But they do give you free snacks.
Yes.
So
And a shirt and a hat.
and when you cross the finish line, they say, Ken Krieger, you are an Ironman.
Mike Riley says it.
Right, yes, Mike the
The
guy.
man.
The guy. Not just anybody can say it, it
That
doesn't
was one
count.
of Mike's
That was one of
stories.
Mike's
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
And that's really, Mike tends to be kind of a historian on anything he gets involved in. He just knows such really cool, intimate.
But that's the highlight of the race, or one of them.
And you're coming through the shoot. I mean, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on this, and I can't wait till the day. If I get there, I got to get there first, running through that chute with all the screaming fans and Mike Riley standing there
I
yelling,
get
you know.
goosebumps.
I mean, I've watched a lot of videos, so. Yeah, I've learned tricks like you wait, let it clear out, and then go.
It's
Who
not,
cares
it's
about
not
the
about that
time?
second, because you know you're going to get there.
You need that
right?
good finishing picture to come through the
You
chute.
do. I mean, you've earned that. It's okay. Pose away.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Right?
You gotta get
You
there.
got to practice that pose though to make sure that everything's going to work. I'm really moved by, you know, again, what you guys do, and I hope that I can make it work so that I can volunteer, because I think there's something to be said for just being a part of something like that, but then if you get the opportunity to support people that you know
Yeah.
and see them,
I'm surprised after I saw how many people are very supportive of this. I mean,
yeah.
some people get the grasp of what this takes to do it, and they're like, wow, I wish I could do that, you know.
Yeah. So when you're done, like, you know, what after that moment, after you come down or you you finish an Ironman, what's the first thing you do for you?
Get your stuff.
Okay, so I gotta get my things. I thought you
Well,
said-
no, then you just,
I was hoping for like cheeseburger, man.
no,
Or-
my family's there, so I kind of find them, and then we'll watch the finish line for a little bit, and then we'll get some food.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're such a kind man. I'd list off all the foods that I wanted to eat. Do you have a favorite or anything that you start to crave?
Sirloin tips at IHOP.
Okay,
That's,
all right. That's the urn.
Yep.
The
And a malt.
urn.
and a malt, yeah.
So you get that ice cream headache after. And then, I mean, then you're just walking around and I would be like, don't you people know what it is? Wearing a shirt.
Got a medal there.
I'm limping. I'm very hungry. Have you thought about that? Like, you know,
After we finish?
yeah, I mean,
I'm hoping to finish with like an hour or two left.
oh, it's
Like he said, I want to stand there and watch other people
isn't
finish.
that cool? That's what makes
I mean,
it
they should
nice.
have like a stadium for us that finished that want to
Like
watch.
lounge chairs?
Yeah, hang out, you know.
Massage tables.
Besides the medical tent,
View,
you know.
right.
like-
Massage tables with the view.
Yeah.
That is just, that is
'Cause I want to see the last person cross.
That is
It might be me, but.
Come on, backwards. That's not gonna be good. How
I
about you when you finished your half?
You know, I had, oh, half of it.
Yeah,
I was
I was
saying, well,
wondering.
I hadn't even thought about
Because
it.
a half, I guess, is not a big deal for you. I mean, I know what an extreme athlete
Well,
are.
for me, when I cross the race, not so much the sprint distance notes, but like my marathons,
Yeah.
I gotta walk. I gotta keep walking because I have a tendency to cramp up really bad. I mean, it's like just keep moving, keep moving. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about that Ironman. What do I do?
Well, I'm one of those people that really thinks part of training should be, you know, what you're wanting to feel at that moment. Or just let it, you know, there's also just being curious and letting it happen. But
Yeah.
you're gonna get there.
Because so you cross the finish line and they give you a hat and a medal and a shirt and chocolate milk and.
Ice cream.
No, I think, but they.
It's Madison, Wisconsin, they don't even know the basket.
But it's like, I mean, it's really crowded and
Sure.
chaotic too.
People are.
That's kind of what I like to do at the end. Do they like, okay, you're done, go sign up for the next one?
Aye.
Or do you like make sure you're okay and like really kick you out of the arena?
So where is the finish? You finish on State Street? Or inside, indoors
Right
somewhere?
by Monona Terrace,
Okay.
between Monona Terrace and the Capitol.
Okay.
And the Capitol is actually a picture of the background when you finish. So it's gonna be.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, and they take a picture.
They take a
Oh,
picture.
in September, they have all the tulips.
And then they have like this Saturday, they have the farmer's market.
And this is actually on Sunday.
The race
The
is
race takes
Sunday.
place on
Yeah.
Sunday.
But you have to check in Friday, here check Saturday, and race Sunday. So
That's a 3-day event. 3-day.
So they make you wait. You have to get acclimated.
Well, they have a big,
Social or.
what do they call it, Ironman
Expo.
Village, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How cool.
Just the whole experience, I think, is going to be just really neat. Just being there, just taking it.
Being part of something.
Yeah.
Just so epic.
Just being
Have you gone to watch one before? No. So you've participated, but you haven't watched. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna put this off for one more year until these two jumped on. I'm like, oh, I gotta do it now because
I actually
I don't know if
was-
I'd have the support next year,
Yeah.
you know. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys will probably be here. Or it'll be, you know, maybe.
It's up to the wife.
And maybe it'll just be, you know, a speaking to experience, and there'll be another person.
We will inspire others, and they can.
Yeah, and even if it's not Ironman, I mean, I'm a runner, very slow. Swimmer, I don't remember, it's been a long time, but I'm a swimmer. Cycling, I love it. It's something, you know, different. So my biggest fear on the bike would be that there'd be a bumblebee or hornet in my helmet. I swear to God, that would be my biggest fear.
My husband has been stung 2 times for sure that I know of in triathlon,
You know?
and I never have.
I'm not kidding. I mean, there are things that is such a phobia to me. When someone told me a story, it was just after I bought my bike, we started road biking, and someone said, "Yeah, I had a friend who got a bee in this bonnet." Like it was a joke. I'm like, "What do you mean?" mean, those are hazards to me. I'm not worried about a pothole, not worried about a flat tire, but if there's a bee on me, I'm gonna take a couple people out with me. So, you know, there's other people that have hazards too as well. Have you seen any accidents or anything like that happen?
Not seen them, heard of them. And sunburn too. I mean,
Oh,
one
sure.
year I got sunburn. They put, you know, they have volunteers that put sunscreen on you, but she missed a little spot.
Darn it. Was it her initials? Probably.
Ironman on my back.
So what kind of recovery is there then after you complete an event like that? How long before, are you really sore a couple days later?
For me, I would say last year, if I could take the bottom half inch of my foot off, I could have done it the next day. So,
Really?
so my feet were trashed and the rest of me was fine.
Wow. Wow, that's not what I expected. That's amazing.
I was gonna say, I ran my first marathon this spring. I didn't want to run for a month afterwards.
Yeah. That doesn't help either, thanks.
I just didn't push hard enough.
Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. You just need some Advil. You just any other tips that you guys want to share or curious?
The Backus Triathlon, if people are interested,
Yes.
you know, you can volunteer, you can watch, see what it's called, sign up, join a team. That'll give you a taste.
Yeah. And that's usually in August.
Second Saturday in August.
Thank you. Second Saturday in August. We've got lots of time for people to
Yep.
start prepping now.
Yep. And at the
Training.
pool, they have lots of open time at the pool.
They do. Yeah.
The best roads for biking.
And it's actually nice for running here too because it's so flat.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I literally shift more on the day of Wisconsin Ironman than I do the whole summer.
Isn't that crazy?
Which does make it hard for training because
Sure.
a lot of the races that we go to
Are really
are hilly, and so it does make it hard for training. And I just want to say that, triathlon or 5K, whatever it might be, is doable
Yeah.
because we all started somewhere. We all started with that first mile, that first bike ride. I actually didn't start running until after I turned 40. And so if you think, well, I can't do that, you guys have been doing this for years or whatever, everybody starts at the same point. And we just keep working and you keep training and you get there.
I'm so glad you said that because every race is daunting. And again, they call them races. My kids, I remember them saying, "Mom, did you win?" Well, as far as you know, yeah. But no, I mean, it's not a race, right? For me, it's something to do. I don't actually, it's interesting when you were talking about your watch. I don't wear a watch because I used to wear a watch and I would judge my runs. And I'm getting older, so I was just being very harsh. So when I go, I just go and know that I went that day, and that's a very proud check mark for me. So the other thing is to really, if you're going to get started, start slow, start realistic. Don't be afraid to start. But also, take the time to know what it is for you. Right? I hate 5Ks. I'm going to say it out loud. I would rather run a half marathon any day. That first 30 minutes, I'm a slow runner, it might be 36. That first 3 miles for me are the toughest for me mentally because oxygen debt is there, your body's not warmed up yet, and that's the struggle. So I always tell people, I do a little bit of coaching, some beginning runners, and I tell them, don't ever judge your run by the first mile. For me, it's the first 3. I don't care how many half marathons I've done, that first 3 miles, I'm so mean to myself. What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it's coming,
Yeah.
but, so talk to people who have that experience. Just be open to see you might not ever have known that you could be a competitive triathlete. And that gift that you have, and what it is to your life now, you might have missed that.
Yeah, I am really glad that I tried it because I was just running 5Ks up until I tried triathlon, and I really found, when people ask me about running, I'm like, well, really, I'm a runner, but I consider myself a triathlete because that is my passion. And I enjoy the local 5Ks. They're fundraisers, and it's fun. You get out with the rest of the community that are runners. But I really feel that marathon is my distance. That's what I'm really enjoying. the running. And it's like you too, I really don't even get warmed up, and you know, 5K, it's so short, it's over, it's fast and furious.
I don't want to work that hard.
I
I like to let things evolve and then be awesome later.
But I remember when I completed my first 5K, it was the Fraser Gizzard, and it was so exciting to have, you know, like my first 5K to have completed that milestone.
Yeah.
And just kind of just kept working up from there.
And I actually think for me, people that love 5Ks, they are astounding to me because that's how much I don't like them. I think a 5K for me, it would be so much harder than I have to have done. It's just, you know, it takes my body
Yeah,
longer
if
to
there's a
warm up.
5K or a 10K to sign up for, it's the 10K now.
Yeah.
But now we're talking a lot about swimming. It's like everybody's biggest fear.
Yeah.
Is the pool. But like I want to say is like I was swimming at the pool here on Saturday, and well, Linda's son's the lifeguard.
Yeah.
And he actually gives me pointers. And there was another kid that was on the swim team. I don't know his name. But he was helping another gal that was in there struggling with their stroke, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, so these
They don't have
high
to
school
do this, they just-
swim team kids are helping these people out. I mean, Cooper's helped me, and it's like, I mean, if you need to learn how to swim, the pool's a
Show
great
up.
place.
People are
It's-
so willing to help.
Yeah, I mean, don't
It's
feel
really,
embarrassed to go to the pool here to learn how to swim, because that's where I learned, so.
I never swam. And I was 49 for my first Ironman, and when I started going to the pool, I would crawl a length and then rest, backstroke or rest. Yes, I can only do one at a time.
That's amazing. When you think about that.
Yeah. So we all started at the beginning.
Yeah, we all
And that's at the pool where you don't get those white caps. Right? And
And I can stand up.
you can stand up.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Mike talked about that. For me, when I was thinking that I might try to do a triathlon, I got to the pool a couple times and Linda was there. And I was a swimmer, so I'm really comfortable in the water. But I forgot that the last time I was a competitive swimmer, the last time I really gave an effort was my freshman year of college. And I showed up, you know, literally 20 years later.
Lost a little bit?
I'm humbling, very humbling. I mean, it was a lot more buoyant, let's not deny, but and I was a sprinter as a swimmer, and to learn how to slow my stroke. I mean, I would need to work with a coach, but again, I was hugging the edge. Like I could do a flip turn a couple times, and then I really needed that moment to fill the lungs. But you know, it's a process. It is a huge process.
I don't like to take time off from swimming. Like when the triathlon season is done, whether it be August or September, to keep swimming, you know, and not wait until your training starts after Christmas.
To get back into it.
Because that's what I find. I take too long of a break. It's
kind of hard on you.
yeah. I just like to just keep, even if you only get there twice a week or whatever, just keep it going all year. Because like on the bike, I'll take a break off the bike for a while, and then you know after Christmas I'll get on my trainer and running. You know, try and run as much as I can. But with swimming,
Well,
I do better if I just keep at it.
You know, you can bike indoors and you can run indoors with treadmills or trainers, but swimming you have to be in the pool. You know, so it's such a different
In the lake.
and just different physiologically as far as the demands on your cardiovascular system. My background's in exercise science, so it's just really I get it. You know, I mean, I get what you guys are asking of your bodies. It's not just that you have endurance, it's changing muscles,
Yeah.
changing that blood flow when you jump from one, you know, and trying to get back into it. It's really, physiologically, I think it's really wild. Amazing.
Speaking about that, you know, like you're talking about muscles and strain and pain, and
Mhm.
my new thing is yoga.
Yoga.
I've been to 3
Right on.
different yoga instructors now, and I think we're getting her narrowed down. So I mean, yoga's actually paying off, I think. So
It does. So really what I did read the other day, because I'm just doing a lot of research and I get to see you guys. I want to know things. I want to come prepared. And actually, what the 2 articles. One said that the fifth discipline of triathlon was yoga, and then the other one was the mental piece or whatever. We talked about it. But you know, it's great to mention that because you become so overdeveloped in those specific muscles. much, I think about all the training commitments you guys have made. We talked about this.
Yeah.
To think of something like an injury, you know, taking that would be devastating. So really taking care of your bodies. And I know you guys all do that. I know enough to do that. It's late, you guys, I know get up early. This is your second time around with me here, maybe a second go at it. I want to thank you guys and let you know that you got our support. I think as the community learns more about you and what you're doing, you're going to see even more people jumping in the ring to give you guys support. Keep me posted. Let me know of anything that's coming up. Any takeaways for people that are thinking as we get to the new year, because this is going to air right around, you know, New Year's resolution time.
See them in the pool, see them on the trails.
Get started.
Get started.
Are you guys open to people reaching out to you to ask, you know, will you hold my hand? Can you get me, you know?
And Bacchus Triathlon is in August,
In August,
right?
so-
So if your New Year's resolution is to get ready for that, then
The timing's right.
yeah,
And the
we have plenty of
resources are
time to
There's
get
plenty of
ready.
people around here that'll help out.
Yeah, more than willing to.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all been that new person getting ready for their first triathlon.
So don't take this the wrong way. But what is that age group that really hits triathlon hard? Because you guys have all said that you came to triathlon kind of later in what you would think, you know, your athletic life. You were 49, which was yesterday as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe that's what triathlon does for you. It keeps you young, humble. Oh my gosh. Is it like any kind of an age that the majority, I think you said that.
Yeah, for the last 6 years when I've been going, the biggest age group has been that 40-year-old age group.
Oh, really?
The 30s, now I noticed last year was starting to get bigger, but the 20-year-old, it's small. And the only reason that I can think that might be is when I was in my 20s, I had small children. I would have never found the time to train. And I don't even think I would have been thinking about it then. And I don't know, as you get older and you want to, you know, exercise, you know, and your kids are able to, you know, watch themselves. Yeah, and they're busy with I have, my boys are in, between the two of them, 6, 7 sports a year. So
Yeah.
they're doing their thing and frees up a little more
Same
time.
practice.
Yeah.
That's nice. How old are you? Can I ask?
36.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm the young one of the
You
group.
can
You are.
And the newbie. And
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get home and get your rest. But thank you very much again, Ken and Bob and Linda. I hope everybody will stay tuned and just continue to keep abreast of what's going on with you guys.
Okay.
And maybe see you in the pool, maybe see